Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Remember, one aspect of being just is justice applies equally across the board, regardless who is doing what. If I consider my actions being righteous, the same actions done by someone I don't like should also be considered righteous. If his actions are considered bad or evil, the same actions, if I employ them, should also be considered evil. I can just do the same thing he does, and I say, hey, he's doing something bad because I said he's bad. But when I do it, I find justifications. I say, well, I do the same thing, but I'm the good person and I need to do it. Well, maybe they needed to do it the same way. But hey, since they are my enemy, they are not entitled. Since I am the good person, I'm entitled to do it. So this is what's going on here. I have two idiots coming out and actually supporting this little expression. The goals justify the means. That is, if someone has a goal, you can achieve it through whatever means you feel comfortable. That is, let's say you want to get your neighbor's car, and that's the goal. You can, according to this stupidity, go over there and grab it from this guy, beat him up and do whatever, and just grab and take his car or his wife, if you want. So anyway, this is the idea, and we have here two idiots that come and say, well, you know what? The goal justifies the means right here. So we need to, from a strategic point of view, or we need to do it. Here it is. From a practical, that's how they say. From a practical viewpoint, it's good to use it. Well, if you use it from a practical point of view, on the Russian side, are they not justified to do it? Let me show you what I'm talking about here. I have this guy here that I've been paying attention since he came out and he tried to screw some people around. Vindman. Now this is Vindman. If you're not familiar who he is the former National Security Council aide, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. So this guy did some hanky-panky in Ukraine, and he supposedly, how do you call that, overpassed his attributions. He did something he was not supposed to. By the way, the Ukraine, the government offered him a job on two instances in their military echelon. This guy, as I said, is a U.S. lieutenant colonel. And you say, why would the Ukrainians do this to him? Well, as always, or most of the time, in order to help me understand the situation, I look at people's biography. It's very revealing sometimes. It helps you understand certain dynamic. And you look at the early life, that's one indicator. You look at the early life, education, experience. And in experience, you might find other names. When you find other names, obviously you might understand it. And other organizations, you might understand who opened the door for this guy, on whose side he is. It's very, very helpful. And then from there you jump to another one, and you might connect the dots and understand how some people just get in some positions just like that. In this case, I'm aware of Mr. Vindman's past. I read the biography, and I will just share with you just the early life to show you the connection with Ukraine. Ready? And maybe a connection with Zelensky, maybe with Shmihal, maybe with Yermak, maybe with Reznikov, maybe with Blinken, maybe with Victoria Nuland, maybe with Yellen, the Secretary of Treasury, maybe with maybe. All right, let's move on. So let's see the biography of this guy, just early life. Alexander Vindman, this weasel, okay? So we find out that he was born actually in the Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic, in the Soviet Union, to a Jewish family. And then he immigrated somehow with his father, right? He immigrated here after the death of their mother. The 3-year-old twins and their older brother Leonid were brought to New York in 1979 by their father, all right? So now this is one point. Let me give you another one. Remember, because I'm not saying just for that, remember the Institute of Study of War. Well, when you hear that, don't really take it as a study of war institute think tank in Washington, D.C. I urge you to look who's the boss. It's a female, you're going to find out. And then look at her biography and find out early life and her connection with Victoria Nuland. There are sister-in-laws. Victoria Nuland, remember that one? Okay, so you make some connections and then you look at Zelensky and then you look at and you can connect some dots a little bit. Vindman and so on. Why would we hear from this weasel? Who is he? Nowadays, who is he? But we hear from him. So let's go back to the article and read the beautiful statement. So he says, this is from The Hill, Vindman on cluster munitions. And I'm quoting Vindman, my honor. From a practical standpoint, the president did the right thing. End quote. Well, if he did the right thing using the cluster munitions, which other civilized countries, including Canada, if you can believe that, and Germany and Great Britain and France and others in their camp are not agreeing with that. They disagree with this cluster munitions for, possibly killing civilians indiscriminately because of their use. He justifies the standpoint of practicality to the means. Oh, we're going to use it. Well, if you use the same logic, why? I mean, this guy probably could justify, if he would be on the Russian side, the Russians' use of nuclear weapon then. Would he? Because from a Russian practical standpoint, Mr. Vindman, the use of nuclear weapons by the Russians will figure out the war. We sort the war in 2 minutes. So should they use it? According to his logic, look at it. According from a practical, well, again, this is a criminal mindset. From a practical standpoint, the drop of 2 atomic bombs on civilian targets, 2 cities in Hiroshima and Nagasaki makes sense. Was the right thing? Was it the right thing? I don't think so. I do not think so. And if you go like that, then the Russians should do the same thing. From a practical standpoint, this is a criminal mentality, my friends. This should stay very far away from any position of control and power. He's a lieutenant colonel. Probably going to be a general soon, because these guys are going to promote him. Remember, now let's go to the second idiot, all right? And this is an idiot with paper. I mean, we know this from a long time, right here. Bolton, who is the military-industrial complex's lapdog, hails Biden's decision to send cluster bombs to Ukraine as an excellent idea. All right, so that's an excellent idea. The Russians, if they use cluster munitions, and these guys said they used it, and they say it's a bad thing, how would that make it a good thing if you use it? It's the same thing with the rape. If your uncle rapes someone, you're going to say, well, just provided some services. But when someone unknown to you or someone that you don't like does the same thing your uncle does, which is rape, oh, that's a rape right there. Is that how it works? Well, if that's the way it works, then excuse me, this is not justice. That's why I do not like these kind of things. And this, the Hill, articles that come from the Hill, both of them, right there, both of them do not look critically of this thing. I looked over that, I skimmed through them. I didn't waste my time to read their garbage. But from there, it's just a justification. They come to defend this kind of viewpoint. Now, that's wrong. That's wrong. And then we're supposed to, if someone would say the same thing from the Russian side, somehow the same thing these guys are hailing and supporting is bad. But if we do it, it's good. How is that just? How is that across the board? How is that equal protection of the law? In front of the law, we're all equal. How is that? And they talk about, the Americans talk about rule-based international order like that? No, thank you. Thank you very much. No. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.